With game one in the books, it is safe to say that the Mavericks are going to have their hands full when trying to complete this series against the LA Clippers. The question is, can they do so? Can they stay on their throats? We'll find out. What is up, everybody? Lindy End Zone back in the building, and today I got to go over a few things with you guys concerning the rest of the series for the Dallas Mavericks against the Los Angeles Flippers. In this case, while Dallas has the lead, setting the tone with the first game, but before we get into it, I want to give thanks once more. And I guess this is going to be a regular thing for me. And while I get used to this, and while I get used to trying to use my slogan again, as I did in last night's stream. Before we dive into what I want to talk about, again, if you're new to the channel and you love Mavericks basketball and you love talking about basketball, aside from being a Philadelphia Eagles content creator, don't forget to drop a like, comment down below. I like engaging in conversation with you guys, and if you like the content enough, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, and also click the notification bell so y'all know when my next video drops, whether it's for the Eagles or Mavericks. You'll be informed. So one thing I wanted to go over is, obviously, this series is far from over for the Mavericks with playing the Clippers as it stands, with Game 2 being on Tuesday. And while the Mavericks weren't perfect, I did pick out five important things, in my opinion, that I feel that is going to help them, stay the course in terms of being the more dominant team in this series. And so let's go over them real quick. So number one's going to be defensive adjustments, and what I mean by this is that it's going to pertain to both teams. It's going to pertain how well the Clippers improve on their defense, and for what I want to see change for the Mavericks on defense. Now, with the return of Maxi Kleber being a decent defender in his own right, he's a little versatile when you consider him being at the power forward position. I think they overplayed Kleber. He had at least 36 minutes, and I think it was more. I think it was for more of a defensive purpose than an offensive purpose, and it didn't bode very well for them for the most part. He was victim to a poster by Kawhi Leonard, in which three Clippers wanted to announce their presence in that matter, and turns out they forgot to play basketball and win this game. So they were served a hot L. You can see what I'm talking about on my Twitter if you go follow me over there. But so as far as defensive adjustments go, I want to see different people out on the floor. In that regard. And as for the Clippers, I think it would benefit them if if they were able to kind of focus on one man guarding Luka Doncic. If they were smart enough to do this, Kawhi Leonard, I think, is the guy that gives Luka the most fits on that team. I know they like to do some defensive switches and give Luka different looks as opposed to who's guarding him, but Pat Beverly is not that guy. Paul George is certainly not that guy, even though he does have his moments, but he's not consistent enough. bigs aren't going to do anything on Luka if he stretches them out to the perimeter. So if I'm the Clippers and I want to suppress Luka as much as possible, I would throw Kawhi Leonard on him being a lengthy defender for his size. He's also about 6'7", 6'8", matches Luka in frame. So that's what should go on for there as far as defensive adjustments. Number two, and this is an obvious one after seeing the result of Game 1, the awakening of Kristaps Porzingis. Now, KP was given at least 30. I think he was given about 30 in the range of like 35 plus minutes yesterday. I would fact check that right now, but I don't want it to cut into the video. But I know KP did play starters minutes, and he wasn't very good. At one point, he was 2 of 11 from the floor. He was very inefficient. He grabbed only 4 rebounds as the center of this basketball team. It's over 7'3" tall. I mean, it's a little ridiculous that at that size you can't give us at least 9 to 12 rebounds a night. Even more would be better. Considering Luka at one point has had 16 rebounds, he's had over 20 rebounds in a game. But yeah, if the Clippers have any shot at winning games against the Mavericks, this would have to be the common theme is the fact that KP doesn't play well, but you need to help your team out, Porzingis. And I'll give you credit. I'll give you some credit. You did score 6 of your 14 points in the fourth quarter when the Clippers were trying to make a comeback. The Mavericks were going ice cold. Luka had a couple of turnovers, but you showed up when you were needed. But we just need you to show up for 4 quarters instead of a few minutes in 1 quarter. So point 2, point blank. We need to awaken KP, and that's pretty much it for that. Number 3. Number 3 for me would be a variety in the bench rotation. This ties into guys like Maxi Kleber getting over 36 minutes. I think that's a little unnecessary when you consider he's coming off of a right Achilles injury, and and the same principle applies to Porzingis. I know he's supposed to be the number 2 on the team, but Rick Carlisle has never necessarily been able to balance the minutes of his players when they're coming off of injury. I mean, in the regular season, Porzingis has never really seen minutes restrictions, and and the same goes for other players. It's just it's ridiculous in that regard. But if we look at last night, and yeah, you could say that Carlisle didn't need these other guys to play, but if you want to give a different look to the Clippers on defense, that I wouldn't mind a guy like Boban coming in for a few minutes. I wouldn't mind if Willie Cauley-Stein got more than 4 minutes to kind of balance his time out with Dwight Powell. He can take some of Maxi Kleber's minutes. Trey Burke, I would like to see a backcourt duo of Trey Burke and Jalen Brunson sometimes. They balance each other pretty well. They're fast. They're fast. From one end of the court to another. They got good lateral quickness. They should be decent in regard to perimeter defense. But are they a mismatch on bigger guys? Yes, but just to keep players fresh and to have different rotations out there to throw different bodies at this Clippers defense. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. But at the same time, you do want to keep some of your more important players fresh for when you need them down the stretch. So something like the fourth quarter where these guys were starting to get a little bit cold, where that doesn't happen. So number 3, I would want to see a little more of a variety in rotation from the bench. Number 4, maintain a 3-point intensity. Now, Dallas shot pretty well from three. They were about 38% from the perimeter last night. It's okay. I guess it's an average number as a team. Dorian Finney-Smith was 4 of 5. Tim Hardaway Jr. had a good percentage from three as well. Luka Doncic was 5 of 11. That's kind of the perfect volume, in my opinion, that I would want him to maintain at. So, and I get that you're not going to shoot this well every night, but in terms of an offensive attack, in situations where you do have a spot where, as point two, when I talked about when trying to awaken Porzingis, if it's a point in time where KP isn't, where he isn't coming around, and you need to where you need to keep that intensity in regards to your perimeter shooting, then if you have it, you have it. Let them fly. If you don't, just look for different strategies on the court. Try and get some of your bigs involved. Work off of screens to limit the double teams that Luka gets stuck on every now and then. So yeah, number 4, maintain the 3-point intensity. Number 5, the biggest one: do not offer a spark to the Clippers. Okay, so it is not often that a good team in the Clippers shoots very poorly from 3-point range. I think for the night, the Clippers only shot about 27 to 28% from three. That's not going to happen consistently for them. They had an off shooting night. Paul George was okay for the most part, but he didn't show up down the stretch. Kawhi Leonard shot poorly from the field. They didn't have any help from guys on the bench. Morris did not. Morris was okay from three, but he didn't offer much outside of that. Other guys for the Clippers were goose eggs from 3-point range. So do not sleep. Do not sleep on this fact that the Clippers shot poorly, Dallas, or you're going to pay for it. Don't get complacent and allow them to find their spots. So that's, I guess, outside of, we already know the Clippers have a decent mid-range game when it comes to guys like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Patrick Beverley can shoot here and there. You got Zubats down low. Morris is a good 3-point shooter that, he can stretch the floor a little bit as a big and sitting out there. I don't think, I don't think the Clippers managed to use. I think they don't. I don't think they managed to use DeMarcus Cousins at all. Ibaka didn't get very many minutes. Rondo was cold, so this isn't going to happen often. And be be very certain that the Clippers are going to have better shooting nights. But in terms of wanting to keep command of this game, do not off of this series. Excuse me. Do not offer them a spark in that regard. Keep their confidence down, and be the alpha. Let them know that you're in control of this series, and don't give them any room, to say otherwise. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. I'm trying to keep these videos down a little bit shorter, but when I guess when I get into conversation, I I like to I like to explain myself a little bit deeper at times, and maybe that hurts my content, maybe it don't, but I'll be sure to get some shorter videos out there from time to time. But that'll be it for me. Game 2 will be on Tuesday. It's a late game. It's a 10:30 game. Unfortunately, due to real life and my work schedule, I don't really want to go into work on 4 hours of sleep. So unfortunately, I will not be streaming Game 2. But best believe Game 3 and Game 4, I should be available, and you can come hang out with me, and you'll know once I schedule it on my channel. But that's going to be it for me. This has been Lindy Endzone for the touchdown, taking a lead for the Eagles, one video at a time, while draining some buckets for the Dallas Mavericks. And that'll do it here. Bleed green. MFFLs, go Mavericks. Take care of one another, and I'll see y'all soon.